10 seconds.
Alright, welcome everyone to our first Reborn cast ever. This is, this could go really, really well, or it could go really, really badly. But we'll see. We'll see how it's going. As we're already running into a few problems. I was kind of psyching myself out before I went live. I was just like, alright, we're going to have a bunch of mess, or we're going to have a big mess. It's going to be really difficult to deal with anything. And I was like, no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We start loading into the game and I crashed. So it could just be one of those nights. We'll see. But once again, guys, I'm Niz. Welcome to NizCast. We're casting the Semi-Pro Cup Series again, like we do every Sunday. And we're starting off in the quarterfinals. And we get to see Next Level Badasses, which we saw play last week in the quarterfinals. And they played up against Fallen, which actually played the previous round of this. They ran into the same team again. And Next Level Badasses, of course, won both of those series. And now we're seeing them in the quarterfinals here, and we saw them get knocked out in the semifinals last week to Overachievers. But they're going to be going up against a team that I don't even know how to begin to pronounce. We might just call them Alpha or Dire. We'll see. But it's KaoQian.Tuji. We're going to go with that one. And it's their Alpha team. They had two teams in the tournament, so I don't know who these guys are. I don't really recognize any of them, so maybe they're a new upcoming team. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they've got some good stuff in store for us. But let's hop into the draft and talk about what's actually going on, as we're already pretty late into the tournament so far. In terms of how, well, I guess we're not as far into the tournament as we normally are by this time, as we had some games run a little bit long, and these guys on the Dire side, the Alpha team, they chose Tinker last game, and it was a pretty interesting game. They played up against the majority of the Business Gaming with a few stand-ins. Yeah, they picked Tinker, and the game went a little long, but they got the win. So they started this off with banning Undying and Earthshaker, followed by Tusk and Queen of Pain. They picked up Lena and Dazzle. Whereas Next Level Badasses, they banned out the Bounty Hunter and the Leshrac, as well as the Bloodseeker and the Huskar, two heroes I absolutely hate in pubs, so I'm glad to see both those gone. But then they picked up Shadow Fiend, Gyrocopter, and now a Darkseer. So we've got, well, I guess the three cores coming out from Next Level Badasses already. As we've got Shadow Fiend most likely in the mid lane, Darkseer going to be the off laner, and Gyrocopter typically run as a safe lane carry. There are potentially some options there if you put Gyrocopter as support. I don't think they're going to do that. Probably just going to play the Gyro as a carry. But we'll see. As for KQ, I don't know what to call them. I could just call him Tuji. It's kind of weird. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But as for them, they've got the Lena and the Dazzle. Could be a support duo. Most likely going to be Lena in the mid lane, though. Dazzle supporting the Anti-Mage in the safe lane. And now Winter Wyvern getting picked up. So Next Level Badasses begin to pick up their support heroes here. Now, I imagine we're going to see the offlaner get picked up here, although they could pick up their support. But I guess they want to disguise the Lena, although it's not really a surprise if you put a Lena mid anymore. You typically very rarely see Lena run as support as is, so it's not really that much of a surprise. And they will pick up the offlaner, so they are still somewhat disguising it, not giving their opponents too much information, as maybe they wanted the clockwork. They really wanted the clockwork, and they wanted to make sure it wasn't going to get banned, as Clock's a pretty valuable hero for them at this point in the game, especially on the Dire side, being able to cogs block the creeps and get a little bit more XP and slightly gold as well than a Radiant version of Clockwork would be. Rubik getting banned out by Next Level Badasses. So realizing that
5 seconds remaining.
KQ, I don't know what to call them. KQ, they're going to look for a support that most likely is going to have some strong disable, as Dazzle doesn't really bring that to the table. Clockwork, he's got cogs, that's great for trapping someone in or pushing someone back, and this hook shot gives you a stun too, but doesn't really have the ability to really lock down someone, especially something like a Darkseer. You do have some stun and disable from Lena, but you do want most likely another support that's going to be really strong at giving you a little bit more of that disable. And next level badasses, they, well, they're probably also going to look for a little bit disabled. They got really good lockdown with the Winter Wyvern to lock down the Anti-Mage. Besides that, they just have Rocket, but that's not a big deal. Vacuum's also somewhat of a disabled, but still not really enough to really lock down an Anti-Mage. I'd like to see them with another support that can do so. As, they're going to take their time here, really thinking about this one. And rightfully so. They've got a minute and a half still left, so why not? I'm trying to think of what's still on the table here, as we've got Earthshaker banned out, Tusk banned out as well. They banned out the Rubik. What do we got? Could go with something like a Shadow Shaman. I think it might be a little bit too greedy. Just a lot of split pushing, which Darkseer is going to be doing quite a bit of. They're going to go with a Naga instead. Okay. So it is going to give you a little bit of lockdown with the Ensnare, but Anti-Mage can just blink. The sleep is going to work fantastic with the Darkseer. So Naga Siren can always sleep to initiate, or Song of the Siren to initiate. Darkseer can come in, lay down the wall. As soon as they cancel the song, vacuums everyone on top of the wall where they're hit with the cooldown, and they can even vacuum someone on top of Shadow Fiend ult. There's a lot of synergy there, and then of course they've got the Winter Wyvern and Winter's Curse to interact with the Darkseer vacuum, so there's a lot of synergy. Pretty much wherever Darkseer is, that's where you got to be scared. And I'm going to pick up the Storm Spirit. So it is actually going to be a support Lina. Storm Spirit going to be mid. Anti-Mage going to be safe lane. Clockwork going to be off lane. And then those two supports going to be babysitting the Anti-Mage. Yeah, they're definitely going to be babysitting the Anti-Mage. You could potentially put someone off lane with the clock, but I don't think it's really worth it. You really want to make sure that you're going to zone the Darkseer as much as possible early on. Especially preventing his level 2, because once Darkseer gets surged, then he can play a lot more aggressive in the lane. And let's see if... Nope, all my binds are broken. Thanks. I just said all these, but whatever. We're gonna go with it. We're on the last hits. Reborn's gonna not be too easy for us here. As okay, that one works. Alright, let's introduce everyone on our Radiant side here, as we've got next level badasses. Going up in the top lane on the Darkseer is going to be Shay. We've got Lonely Boy playing... Why can't I click? Oh god. This could be interesting. We've got Lonely Boy playing the Winter Wyvern. Still isn't allowing me to click. Okay. Noble Wings is going to be on the Shadow Fiend. Good Night on the Gyrocopter, and Cheesehead going to be playing that support Naga. As for our heroes on the Dire side, which, well, they're abbreviated as KT. We'll call them KT. We've got AA. He's going to be playing the Clockwork in the off lane. We've got LV on the support Lina. Kurenai on the Storm Spirit. HY on the Anti-Mage. And top 1% playing the Dazzle. We're seeing a lot of movement coming out here from the Dire side. They were originally bottom. Now they're coming up for the top lane. As we've got a little bit of a battle in the bottom lane, as AA and Cheesehead are going at it here, and Cheesehead will get the D-ward. Can't select things. Oh. AA playing a little bit aggressive there, but now Goodnight's going to come in from behind. He's got a battery assault of his own, and that's going to burn through a bunch of the HP of Clockwork, but he's just going to use a Tango and get himself healed back up. Lonely Boy doing a little bit of blocking in the mid lane, helping Noble Wings with the positioning of the creep wave. Ideally, you want it to be... You don't want them to be right there, but it's okay. So that was basically an even block for either side. Now Lonely Boy's just going to sit here and try to babysit Noble Wings until he can get a couple CS under his belt. Once he can get those souls going. Although he hasn't skilled Necromastery. So, got a last hit there, but not going to get credit for it. He's now 2 away. I wonder if this is actually just a bug, or if he actually hasn't skilled it. No, he's actually going to go with raises. I was thinking maybe he's holding it in case he feels like he needs to go for raise. But, he ends up skilling raise. And now Shay getting pressured in the top lane is slowed down. Keep in mind, What I said about Darkseer trying to get level 2, not able to do so, just barely away from it, and he takes a lot of damage as a result, not able to surge himself out of there. But he's got a salve, so he'll be back up to full HP, or pretty close to it shortly. Clockwork, using the cogs to block. As I mentioned, he kind of screwed it up a little bit, but it'll still help bring the creep wave back a little teeny bit. This clock was going down the river. Maybe just a little bit early for Rune, but mid lane so far is actually looking pretty good for the Shadow Fiend. That babysitting from the Winter Wyverns working out well for him. Shadow Fiend sitting at 8 and 4, whereas Storm's at 5 and 2, so helping the Shadow Fiend off. Get off to a good start. Oh my goodness, select the hero. Reborn, please. Speaking of Reborn, I don't know if you guys have played a bunch of Reborn, but I've tried to play as much of it as possible since it came out. And initially I hated the UI. I still hate the UI. It's got some really great... the out-of-game UI. It's got some really great features to it, but my, it drives me nuts. As for everything inside the game, it actually feels great. I don't typically have any problems with it in-game. I was crashing a little bit right before release, but that seems to have all been solved. And everything seems to be working well, except apparently when I'm a spectator, it's very difficult to select things. So I'm going to probably just box select everything, as that seems to be reliable for me. Still not a ton of action going on so far. We've seen a little bit of action up in the top lane as they've tried to put some pressure on Darkseer. Besides that exchange on the Clockwork in the bottom. Besides that, everyone's just kind of farming up, doing their thing, and oh my goodness, this is going to drive me nuts. Sorry guys. I hope this doesn't turn into a cast of me just bitching about Reborn when you're a spectator or broadcaster slot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I actually haven't seen any of the other casters complain about it on Twitter, so it could just be an issue I'm having. Looks like they're going to bring the Winter Wyvern back to the mid lane to give Shadow Fiend a little bit more space. They're actually dropping a Sentry Ward to get rid of the uphill vision. Noble Wings must have noticed that there was some uphill vision. But they will miss it with the Sentry Ward. It's right up there. So, a little bit outside the range. We've got A now going for the bottom rune. It's going to be 4 minutes.
First blood.
And I missed First Blood because it happened in the top lane. And it's actually Darkseer getting the kill. So he managed to bring down the Dazzle. And who got the bottom rune? It was the Clockwork, so he got the bounty rune. Cheesehead wasn't able to get there in time. Meanwhile, on the mid lane, they're pinging out to go on the Storm Spirit. This is going to be a little deep going into the tower here. Lonely Boy is probably going to end up on the upside of this cliff, and oh, he's going to be in trouble. I think both of them are going to go down. Noble Wings and Lonely Boy are both going to go down. Nice TP response coming out from the heroes of the Dire side, but I thought that was maybe a little bit too forced for the Radiant. But it will be about 800 gold going the way of the Dire, and they'll very much so like that, especially the Storm Spirit, because Shadow Fiend is out farming him quite a bit right now, leading him by 10 CS. And I want to look at this Darkseer. He did get a kill. He's up to 10 CS. It's not too bad on a Darkseer. I'm going to see how much he's able to, or how quickly he's going to be able to get some of his core items. See if he chooses to go for something like a mech. Oh, nice play there, going off towards the right side rather than just going straight back to the tower, which you would consider as the standard play. And you notice Lina laid the stun down right there. So good play there coming out from the Darkseer. Making sure that it's not running directly into the most likely Light Strike Array position. Now, Lonely Boy's going to be up here. We're going to most likely try to pull this creep set of neutrals into the lane to help bring it back, because the positioning right now, Anti-Mage is going to be able to keep it here. Unless they're really able to put a lot of pressure on with the Darkseer, with the Ion Shells. Nope, they're not going to pull it yet. We got a 6-minute rune. What are we going to get? Another bounty rune. Bottom's in Invis. And looks like A is going to get that. a little confusing when I say AA. Oh, Noble Wings could be in trouble. Remember, there is a sentry ward here, so he's going to walk right into it. But Noble Wings a little bit late to react, and AA, he had a moment there. He had a chance to go, but choosing not to, as the creep wave was going to be there, and it was just not really going to work out for him. But now they're going to play back, as there is the opportunity of the Clockwork coming in from this side, which a sentry ward will not reveal. But he was making the play to go up top, realized that wasn't going to happen, TP down to the bottom tier 2, and he's going to get this much needed XP. And as soon as they see the Clockwork, Noble Wings is able to step up. Shay once again juking and jiving, making sure he doesn't eat another one of those light strike arrays. Still a very passive game, as we saw a little bit of a dive in the bottom onto AA. As Goodnight laid down the call down. I was wondering where LV was going to TP there. And it was the bottom lane. Goodnight actually looking pretty good on this gyrocopter right now. 44 and 15 is his CS, only behind the Shadow Fiend, who's at 53, soon to be 54 and 17. And they're leading the way of the other big cores on the Dire side. 43 and 13 for the Anti-Mage, and Storm sitting at 39 and 5. As for the offlaners, of course, Darkseer's going to be ahead in CS on that one, as he's sitting at 15 and 1. And of course, he's got that kill, the first blood to his name as well, so that'll help out quite a bit. Now once again getting pressure. They've put a lot of pressure on him, but he's managed to do alright. He's about level 4.5, and let's compare that to the Clockwork. About the same. Clockwork just a little bit more XP, which is what you kind of expect considering it's a Dire side Clockwork.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You can expect a little bit more gold going the way of the Darkseer, and a little bit more XP going the way of the Clockwork. So that's exactly what we're seeing. But still no major moves. We're really going to have to look and see when this Clockwork hits 6. Then he's going to try to get involved in some of these kills. Beyond that, not really going to see too much activity coming out from the Radiant side. They're going to be pretty much fine with just kind of sitting back and farming. We've got Shadow Fiend's going to be kind of controlling the mid and the leftmost part of their jungle. The Gyrocopter is going to be pretty much staying at home. Unless he starts pushing past tier 1s again. But he's just going to be comfortable sitting down there farming up, and then Darkseer is going to be up in the top lane farming. All three of them, they don't really want to be moving around too much. They just want to be farming, and let the snowball roll. As for the Dire, they want to really get the ball rolling. They want the Storm getting a good pick off, and then start snowballing from there, allowing him to then go and start putting pressure on heroes like this Gyrocopter, forcing them to devote a hero down here to babysit the Gyro. They've already got this Observer Ward in lane, and that's actually quite important. With that Observer Ward, the Gyrocopter can pretty much be left alone, because as long as he keeps the wave back to roughly where he is right around here, he's going to have more than enough time to respond to any kind of TP gank or anything like that coming out from the Dire side. So Radiant already preparing to sit back and farm. As for the Dire, they've got, Lena's got quite a bit of gold already, 850 gold. They should feel pretty comfortable with the Anti-Mage just sitting up top farming. It is going to be a little bit difficult for him once the Ion Shells really start burning through his HP. So he'll probably be jumping in and out of the jungle quite a bit, but especially once he gets his Battle Fury up, then he's just going to be able to kill those Ion Shell creeps. And Shay, I don't know what you were doing there, bud. But he just walks up, and AM with a couple right clicks, followed by a Mana Void, finishes him off. So a kill goes the way of the Anti-Mage. And that'll help accelerate his farm. A little bit of gold. Now AA has hit 6. He's got haste bottled up. TP's to the mid lane, looking for a kill on the Shadow Fiend. This is what you see a lot of. Clockwork picks going up against Shadow Fiend. As soon as he hits 6, you come and put pressure on the mid lane. And Noble Wings, he's seen this all before. He immediately goes back to the jungle, farming up a creep camp, and I don't think he's going to push up too far here. Well, he might be proving me wrong. But they do have vision of the Anti-Mage. This AA, the name of AA is going to drive me insane. Because I go to say AA and then I realize, no, that's not AA, and then I think Anti-Mage, and well, the mind works in mysterious ways. But he's just going to go back to the bottom and farm. So we won't see a gank on Shadow Fiend just yet. But it is still going to be available, and it's so easy. If Clockwork can hookshot in and get the cogs off, and then he just battery assaults to protect himself so that a Requiem can't fly, then Storm jumps in as well, and it's an easy kill for the two of them. The only thing they do have to watch out for is Lonely Boy being there. But, you know, Lonely Boy, he knows where he needs to be. He's sitting behind the Shadow Fiend. But even still, even with Lonely Boy, they should be able to bring down the Shadow Fiend. And certainly, it shouldn't be anything that's really going to be too dangerous for them. As Clockwork, he'll be able to take right-click damage from Shadow Fiend, but besides that, the real threat is the Requiem. Well, we're going to see a battle here from those two heroes onto the bottom room. And oh my goodness. Well, speaking of the right-click damage there, followed by 2 raises, we saw how quickly a Shadow Fiend can bring down the Clockwork. But of course, if Storm was there, does Storm have pull? Yeah, he does. He's got pull, so that definitely wouldn't have happened. Because the two of them would be, it would almost be the opposite how quickly they're going to bring down the Shadow Fiend. DD Dazzle. Dazzle, one of these heroes that hits really damn hard for support. And with DD, that's a lot more damage. You're going to see a smoke from the Dire here. They're going to look for the Gyrocopter, and they're going to find him. Smoke gets popped. They drop the Remnant to help see, and oh, Kurnai not able to get the pull off when he wanted to there, but they will be able to find him once again. He tried to TP out, but that wasn't working out for him. Cheesehead, unfortunately, not level 6 to use that song. Oh, and now an Observer Ward gets placed behind the Tier 1, so they can see everything going on behind it. Did they see LV there? I'm not sure. I haven't actually checked my fog. Seems to be working. My fog binds, so. I did actually check a lot of this before I went live with the cast, but then that crash got me super paranoid. The load screen crash got me super paranoid that a bunch of those things didn't, the hotkeys didn't save. It seems like most of them did. Oh, hey, he's going to find himself in a little bit of a dangerous position again, but he does his smart play, puts himself up on the high ground, places the cogs to make sure that Noble Wings, well, you're going to put yourself in a bad position if you really come after me trying to get the kill. And oh, that was so close to a Requiem going off, but he gets stunned by the late strike array, so the two of them will actually trade. Dazzle's going down as well. We've already lost 3 heroes on the Dire side. Kurnai says, I'm going to come in and try to get a little bit of revenge, but with the fact that it's 3v1, that's not really going to work out for him. So he'll just jump back away. They still don't have level 6 on the Naga. 14 minutes in. So the Naga is definitely behind in terms of XP. As I have to manually put it to net worth. Sorry guys. It's going to be a little bothersome. But the net worth bind won't take for me. One of the bugs I've been having. But our top net worth is the Shadow Fiend, and quite a bit ahead of the Anti-Mage actually. As he's about 1,300 gold ahead of Anti-Mage. Gyrocopter, well, not quite able to stick with the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage has a kill, Gyrocopter's got a death. So yeah, you expect the Anti-Mage to have a little bit of an advantage there. But beyond that, no, the distance isn't that big. I mean, it's 1,000 gold almost, but it's not that big early on, as AM is going to start snowballing out of control if he's really left alone. This is kind of the make or break moment for the Radiant side if they want to put pressure on the Anti-Mage, or they could very well just feel comfortable with not putting pressure on him, just sitting back and farming. They've got more cores. They've got the Gyrocopter and the Shadow Fiend. Both of them are going to be real strong right click. Of course, you've got strong late game cores as well on the Dire with the Anti-Mage and the Storm Spirit. But when you hit kind of that mid-game mark, these cores, especially the Shadow Fiend and the Gyrocopter, which both peak relatively early in the game in comparison to the Anti-Mage and the Storm, combine that with kind of the Wombo combo of the Song, which is almost going to be online, or it will be online with this Roche kill, paired up with the Darkseer, with the Winter Wyvern, all that stuff I talked about in the draft. That's where next level badasses are really going to start being scary. And they would really wish they had Song here, as Cheesehead is going to go down. Actually hook-shots in, but hits his own Storm Spirit. Top 1% came in from the top, and it looks like they were going to turn around on him, so he backs away, and now KT will look to take Roche. They get the Winter's Curse off onto Kurenai. Roche even comes in for an assist, hits him once, and now top 1%, who was trying to get in there for the Shallow Grave, is the one that is potentially in trouble, but AA comes in with the cogs, drops them, and pushes everyone back. And now it's actually next level badasses that will get the Aegis. It's going to go on to Noble Wings. HY actually blinked up onto the high ground here, and he's going to find Lonely Boy, who's been separated from his team. But he freezes himself, and oh my goodness, with him having no mana, that Mana Void did so much damage to all the other heroes. But unfortunately, it's a committal that's going to cost HY his life. He did get the kill, but it's not really going to work out for him. And Shadow Fiend on the other side of each other, they're going to go. They're just going to back away as the Clockwork was TPing out. Now, Goodnight will get a kill onto LV. So when it's all said and done, this fight recap isn't going to show us the whole story, but it was definitely an advantage for the Radiant, especially given that they got the Roshan and that Aegis, which they still have on the Shadow Fiend. They also have level 6 up on the Naga. Actually surprised to see him not having at least 1 point in Mirror Image. He's elected to go with 2 points in Ensnare. Figured he'd have 1 in Mirror Image to help stack a bunch of camps in the jungle all at the same time, but electing not to get that skill point. I'm not the best Naga player in the world, that's for sure, so take what I said there with a grain of salt. Still just a little bit of farming here. He's got Noble Wings picking up an S&Y. What does Lonely Boy have? He's got his Arcane Boots, Cheesehead, he's got his Medallion. Goodnight's got Phase, Yasha, Helm of the Dominator, and Drums. Kind of an old style build. Shay's got his mech. And there are 1400 gold as well. So probably saving for a Blink Dagger, although there's a couple other options here. I'm a little surprised to see that he hasn't picked up Arcane Boots here to naturally transition into the Guardian Greaves a little bit later on into the game. So definitely probably valuing the timing on that Blink Dagger right now. So that's probably what he's saving for. As for our Dire side, we've got LV, who's
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Interesting. So it looks like he was going for the urn, or for the Yules, and then he kind of bailed out and got going for the urn. So he's going to have to eventually buy another Sage's Mask. But that urn will be online in just a second for him. We've got the Battle Fury and the Vlads on the Anti-Mage. Dazzle's got his Arcane. Nice grave timing there before the final blow was coming in from Noble Wings. And now Goodnight comes in, but comes in right into a Light Strike array. Kurenai just finishes his Bloodstone, so he's going to look to get active and get some Bloodstone charges. Actually, he's already up to. He must have had it before when they got their last pick off, because well, he's got more Bloodstone charges.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Shay's going to find himself HY, but Kurenai comes jumping on in, and there's that nice wall vacuum, as it almost nets them a kill, but Kurenai able to jump away, so the Darkseer will go down, and now we're going to lose AA, so it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. They did already claim the top tier 2, so it'll be interesting to see if they actually choose to go for the tier 3 here up in the top lane, or fall back to mid, stop the AM from farming, maybe even pressure the tier 2, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. as now HY will probably know that this rotation's coming and start making his way down towards either the bottom lane or through, maybe even through the Radiant jungle, as he'll probably stop to farm up a couple camps.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So we now have 9 Bloodstone charges. This clicking bug is driving me insane, guys. It's gonna take a little while to get used to Reborn. Also doesn't help that I've been sick the last couple days, so I'm trying to get over that as well. It's gonna be a rough cast.
What'd I miss?
Well, Shay, he didn't lose that much gold with that death. He's still sitting at 1900 gold.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So that Blink Dagger should be online soon. They actually didn't use the song last fight, so they might choose to use it aggressively here once Wall of Replica is back up online, which it will be in 12 seconds.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And
attack.
pressure on this tier 2. They will get it. Good night with the last hit. Call down will just kind of force everyone back. It doesn't look like there is going to be an engage here, despite the fact that the Animage was looking like he wanted to jump. So they will back away, and they're going to use a smoke. So maybe looking to potentially turn around and go right back onto KT here. Oh, they're going to find them in the mid lane as Kurnai and AA have pushed up in the lane. They start with the Requiem with the Winter's Curse. AA, nice hook shot there, making sure the Shadow Fiend not able to get that Requiem off. And now, well, I guess he kind of traded himself for the Storm Spirit, but then Dazzle comes in and says, no, I'm going to trade myself for the Clockwork. So they just lose the Dazzle when it's all said and done, but good kind of trading off there coming off from KT. They realized they were going to lose a hero there and did everything that they could to try to help each other out. Kurnai now jumps in from the Secret Shop, and ooh, Wall of Replica going down, but not any follow-up, and that's a big cooldown for them to use up here. Like I said, they've got a lot of synergy on their team, but a lot of it actually revolves around this Darkseer pick. And more particularly, the Wall of the Replica in combination with the Vacuum. They don't necessarily have to have Wall of Replica, but certainly Vacuum pairs with everything else, and Wall of Replica just kind of makes it even stronger. All those combinations. Or synergies. So Blink Dagger now up online on the Darkseer, as we'll take a look at all the items, see if anything else new has come out. We've got a second SNY getting purchased, as that's going on the Gyrocopter. So Good Night has that. We've got the second Sage's Mask getting picked up by LV, so eventually that Eul Scepter is going to come out for the support Lina. And oh, look at this, Kurnai has found a pick, as he's going to jump on to Noble Wings, who he's still got quite a bit of HP, and he's going to start bottling up. And they will eventually be able to bring him down, or no they won't, because they're going to walk into a call down and a song. So Noble Wings will actually be able to get away from there. Meanwhile, there was a fight going on the left side. I didn't see exactly what happened. I know that AA jumped in, dropped the cogs, and everyone was kind of blocked off because there was cogs right here. But what looked like was going to be a guaranteed kill on the Shadow Fiend actually turned into no one dying. I suppose teams just kind of back away, but there were some important cooldowns used. Mainly just the song, but they used Call Down as well. Call Down's pretty short cooldown, so it'll be up shortly. But certainly the Song of the Siren is pretty big. It's a pretty big cooldown to use, especially a rank 1 where I believe it's 3-minute cooldown. And it reduces its cooldown by 1 minute every single rank. And where the heck is he on the minimap? There he is. But yeah, so 180 seconds, 120, and then 60. So we won't have Song of the Siren available for another 2 minutes now. But it looks like they are going to still go on the offensive here. They realize they need to start putting pressure on this dire side, making sure that the AM just can't sit on the other side of the map farming all game long, as he's pushing right now in the top lane. Kurnai jumping around on the Storm Spirit, getting a little bit of damage in, but they're not going to be able to keep their tier 2 alive. Now the Vacuum will bring them back to a wall, and they will get a kill there. But it is just on the support Lina, and with the Winter's Curse, they're able to find another as they trap the Dazzle. With those 2 supports down, I think they should be able to push uphill here, as there's really no wave clear. The strongest wave clear on the dire side is definitely the Lina. And with her going down, it actually makes it much easier for them to go high ground. A is going to try to prevent that with the cogs. But he'll actually hook shot back in, stunning up Good Night. And Shay blinks forward, going for the body blocks, but they need to make sure they don't dive too deep for this. They're here for the tier 3 towers and the racks. And certainly they'll collect an anti-mage kill if they can, as HY TP's on in, goes on the offensive, and then he just gets right-clicked down. Now the racks are going to get right-clicked down as well, as we got Storm Spirit doing the constant jumps from the fountain. As he's going to be jumping in just a second here. Good Night's going to be in trouble. As they got the kill onto AA. Kernai actually TP'd in. So didn't go for the long bomb with the Storm Spirit. And we're going to lose our first set of racks here. Wow, they're actually going to go for this tier 3 in the mid lane as well, as they realize there's still 3 heroes dead on the side of KT. Kernai still jumping around, doing whatever he can to kind of delay this push. And any kind of damage he can on this tier 3, as the tier 3 is about to fall. Will they stick around for racks? No, they're going to think better of it and back away. There's a lot of heroes respawning. 5 seconds for both the Lina and the Clockwork, and then another 5 after that for the Anti-Mage. Now they'll back away. They'll check Roche, see that he's actually up. And will they have enough time to bring this down? They're bringing him down real quick, as they've got that medallion on the Naga. And the Shadow Fiend and everything. It's a lot of minus armor, so they will bring down Roche, and they'll put another Aegis onto the Shadow Fiend. And they'll just probably back away and get their HP and manas back up and look to push again down the mid lane, as they're going to have everything back up. They're going to have Song, which is already up. The only thing that they don't have right now is actually Requiem, which will be up in 20. So they'll be good to go in just a second. And I think they definitely need to. They're certainly not in a rush to go and end the game right now, but any kind of damage that you can do to your opponent at this point in the game, 28 minutes into the game, is absolutely huge when you're up against an Anti-Mage.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And certainly if they have another fight like they did in the bottom, where they got those 2 pickoffs and then they got a couple more pickoffs while they were taking racks, if that happens when they're pushing these mid racks, then they're probably just going to win the game. They're just going to go and end it. So the Dire side's going to have to be really careful with how they take these next fights. We've got that Yule Scepter finished onto LV. So a little bit more disables going on the Dire side. I was already talking about them kind of lacking disables in the draft, and then they picked up the Storm. So they got a little bit, but still they don't have a ton of lockdown. Certainly not as much lockdown as the Radiant side has. Or at least, I shouldn't entirely say lockdown, but a combination of slows and disables and kind of just disrupting abilities like a Vacuum. Vacuum I don't really view as a disable, but it is, essentially. Kind of catching skills, I guess. Got Satanic finish now on the Shadow Fiend. BKB's down to 9 seconds. Good Night's elected to go with a Butterfly. We've got Storm in the background. He's trying to pick on Lonely Boy here, who will just freeze himself. And Kernai forced to jump away. Kernai being real annoying on this Storm Spirit, but just not able to net any kills with it. But he's doing a lot of just kind of pressuring, jumping in and out. Typical kind of Storm Spirit stuff. We're not seeing him getting those tons of kills and ganking potential, but really all he has to do is disrupt his opponents right now. Sure, he'd love to get some kills, but disrupting. A comes jumping on in, but unfortunately it's right to his death, and we're also going to lose the Dazzle at the same time. Kernai in a little bit of a right-click battle there with Noble Wings. He'll actually just pull him and then jump away. LV getting chased down by Goodnight, who will eventually catch him. And this is the thing I was worried about. Dire need to make sure that they don't take a fight that's all kind of scattered. And unfortunately, next level badasses realized that was the situation. They jumped in, they capitalized on it. They're going to get another set of racks, and well, they're not going to go for throne. They're going to go for top tier 3, as there are going to be some respawns coming up relatively shortly. This is the much safer play, and they're actually going to have to back away because Anti-Mage has taken a tier 3 of his own, and now he's going for racks, and they're just going to let him do it. They actually don't have TPs on most of their heroes.
Radiant's
In
middle
fact,
barracks are under attack.
they only have TP on Lonely Boy, so they don't even have the option of going back here. Kurenai jumping in. He's got 2 heroes low. Cheesehead is very, very low. He does still have Song. And they Winter's Curse Kurenai, who is shallow graved, and they will get the kill on him as well as the Dazzle. And somehow, Cheesehead still stays alive. Kurenai comes jumping on in. There was 1 hero dead on the Radiant side. That was the Darkseer, who will buy back and defend middle. As Noble Wings was BKB'd, he was Glimmer Caped, he was everything as he pushes up forward. But HY on the comeback will get a double kill with the Mana Void. Now they're going to camp on top of Shadow Fiend's body as he'll respawn right into his death. So effectively they do get a 5-man wipe, killing all heroes on the Radiant side. There was 1 buyback from the Darkseer, who will push back out the mid lane. But they did bring down that tier 3, and both these racks are super vulnerable now.
Incoming.
But we're starting to get to that point where Anti-Mage is going to start coming online. He is going to start being a presence in these fights. But he certainly can't do it alone. Certainly not against the Gyrocopter, who's got the Butterfly. Of course, with an MKB, he's not going to be able to deal that much damage to Gyros. He's going to be evading a lot of the attacks. There is still a lot of lockdown. That, AM's going to have to look out for. Winter's Curse is primarily going to be the one. That's the thing that's really scary for the Dire side. If your Anti-Mage starts getting really big and they use the Winter's Curse effectively, Anti-Mage can just start killing his teammates, so gonna have to look out for that. Kurenai, well, we haven't really seen any real item progression since he picked up his Bloodstone. He has picked up an Oblivion Staff and does have another 1,400 gold, so there is an Orchid on its way, but it's still a little ways out. As he's not as close as that gold might seem, because he's basically only, he wants to keep a lot of his reliable gold so that he's going to have guaranteed buyback. He is still on cooldown right now, but you still have to manage. Even with your buyback on cooldown, you still have to manage that reliable gold. And it's up at 944 gold right now. But if there is a push here that looks like it could be the end, then you pretty much just have to buy out and say screw reliable gold, screw buyback, because I don't care about what's going to happen in 4.5 minutes. I care about not losing the game right now. And we're going to see him buy a second Oblivion Staff. Still won't have enough for the Orchid. So it'll do a little bit to help here. And ooh, he's going to jump on in, get a pull onto Goodnight, forcing out the BKB, which means they can all back away. Unfortunately, if they back away, that means their racks are exposed. Wall will just be used on the Anti-Mage, and he'll actually go down. He'll buy back immediately, come back into this, as they will lose the top range racks, and the melee racks is getting quite low. Kurenai jumping in. They will use the Song to reset here. And ooh, they are going to keep right-clicking. They want to go after that racks, but they will back away instead. As Cheesehead gets Glimmer Capes, they're going to choose to go after Lonely Boy instead. He's got a Ghost Scepter. He's got all the defensive items here. And there they're going to use that Winter's Curse as the Anti-Mage starts right-clicking down his Storm Spirit, but eventually they will catch Lonely Boy and bring him down. Lina managed to catch the Naga Siren as well. So, show fight recap doesn't really help us there either. These fights are lasting a little bit too long, but it is, I guess, a successful defense. They did lose their range racks, but they still have their last remaining racks alive in the top lane. But it's looking a little broken, as it'll repair itself though.
Radiant structures
But sitting down around 700 HP is not where you want your final racks to be. HY trying to put a little pressure there. Didn't point it out, but he did get the mid melee rack. So there was a racks that went down there for the Dire.
'Tis mine.
Quickly bring up our items here as we see a lot of defensive items coming out for the Radiant side. We've got another Glimmer Cape on the Naga Siren. Looks like she's going to be, well, she picked up a point booster. Then we've got Lonely Boy. He's got his Glimmer and his Ghost Scepter, which we just pointed out. Goodnight. He's, what's new? The BKB's new-ish. I think since we last tuned in. Oh well, Kurenai's going to jump on in. But yeah, I believe that was his most recent item pickup. I believe he got the butterfly first. I can't even remember anymore, guys. It's a disaster. Still haven't seen the Darkseer electing to go for the Guardian Greaves. He's added Shiva's Guard on instead, which I think is definitely a good item pickup for him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Solar Crest on the Dazzle. Abyssal
Radiant's
on
bottom
the
tower
Mage.
has
This
fallen.
split push, it may just be a little bit here or there taking down that tier 2, but that's wearing down the Radiant's base. Look at the map. Look at how much they brought down. Actually, screw looking at the map right now. We've got a big fight and we've got an even bigger vacuum onto a wall. As oh my goodness, there's so much damage going out here. Cheesehead will get hit with the Mana Void, but he won't go down. He managed to get the Glimmer Cape off first. Lena's going to go down instead, and HY is getting pressured. He will go down here in just a second. Yes, he will. And the last set of racks will go down as well for KT. Looks like Next Level Badasses will advance to the next round, where they'll be going up against, let's take a quick look and see, FNMDX. They've been waiting for a while. Their game was finished before this one even started. So they'll bring them down. And this one looks like it's going to be over. Surprisingly, no GG getting called, and I think that's what the really was from Goodnight. But yeah, they bring down the last defense, with the exception of the Storm, who keeps jumping in and out. Good game well played, gets called out. So we will see Next Level Badasses advancing to the next round, where we still have, well, we've got 2 games left for tonight, as our next game is going to be the semifinals. And like I said, it's been a little bit of a long night for the players. I just got started casting, so it hasn't been that long for me. But yeah, these guys are going to be pretty worn out by the time it gets to the end of the night. But we do still have 2 games left, so hopefully you guys don't go anywhere and you'll stick around to see Next Level Badasses take on their next opponent in the semifinals. Once again, guys, I'm Niz. Sorry if there was a bunch of issues there with Reborn, and just kind of the camera work and everything was a little bit shoddy. Having trouble clicking things. I have to actually box select things because left clicking just doesn't work. On top of that, the camera control stuff isn't really working for me in Reborn, so it's a little bit of a mess, but we're getting there. We're working through it, and you have to learn these things at some point to adapt to the new engine. But yeah, once again, guys, I'm Niz. If you did enjoy the cast, make sure you hit that follow button. I cast SCS every Sunday, so you can always come back and either cheer on your friends, or tell your friends because you're the one playing, or maybe you don't have friends, or maybe you're not good at Dota, and you just want to come and watch some Dota. You can do that too. So hit that follow button. But besides that, I've got another lobby to hop into, so don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back.